Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and happy Men's Day to you. You probably didn't know it was Men's Day, did you? Neither did I until Kelly told me it was a few minutes ago. We're about to go out and do some work, and we don't have any of the males on our crew today because they're all off doing other things. Mark is off doing some training, and the other guy is doing some other things, and Aiden is sick as a dog. He and I have both been fighting something. I've been sick here for the last few days, but still keeping at it. So anyway, I've got an all-female crew today, which I tell you what, to be honest, is not that bad. They are go-getters. They are tough. They get up there on the houses. Believe it or not, Kelly, you may have seen her in the background. Now, many of you have seen Hallie. She crawls all over the houses, all over the roofs. But Kelly, who most people would just look at as a nice suburban woman, wife, all that, she gets up there on those houses too and does a heck of a job. So I am not at all. Excuse me. There might be a couple more of those. Not at all in a bad place with an all-woman crew today. If you want to know what I think about women and their place in things, you read my books. You'll be surprised. I'm going to say something today. Oh, sorry to wrap that up. So she said, well, since you're feeling rotten, it's Men's Day today, so we are going to do all the work. Well, I can't let them do that, but I appreciate their thoughts, and I may help out a little bit. Going to say a few things today that I think will probably be, I don't know, controversial, kind of radical, and some things that some of you may be kind of surprised that I'm saying because of things that I've said in the past. And it's about what's wrong with this country and how to take care of it. First, I want to put in a few things. I finally got around to checking the mail yesterday, and I don't generally check the mail as often as I should to begin with. And I've been so busy with the Christmas lights that I've even gotten worse than I usually am. And business is exploding, and that's a great blessing to have, but it's kept me from keeping up with some other things. I finally got by the mail yesterday and picked it up, and I was surprised with a couple of really cool, nice things, and I wanted to mention that. First off, if for those of you who are not in law enforcement, it's a tradition as we would travel and meet people from other departments to kind of trade patches, department patches. All departments have a shoulder patch, right? And I rarely, I never worked out of an office. I mean, I had an office I went to, but I never had a wall display of anything like that. But I have mementos through the years of things that I've gotten from guys in other departments and things, and that I've given. And anyway, one of the things that I got in the mail yesterday, and I'm not going to say who sent it because just because this would tie into somebody, into some things. Those of you with some background in intelligence will understand why I'm not. I got this in the mail, and Baltimore police, and a nice letter from one of our subscribers here. And I can't tell you how much this means to me. He is a retired Baltimore police officer. He's an extremely accomplished person. I read his bio that he was nice enough to include there, so we all kind of know, what we're about, what our backgrounds are. And he sent this to me, and this is, I consider this a great honor. Like I say, I won't say what his handle is, but I thank you, my friend. This will go in a place. If ever I start mounting things on the walls in an office anywhere, this will go up there with it. But until then, it will be on my desk or somewhere around where I will see it. And I appreciate it so much. I can't tell you. Thank you very much, and God's blessings on you and yours and all those around you, and stay safe. And stay safe for all the other law enforcement officers out there as well. Now, then there was something else. And this one came. It was a big box. And I said, why is anybody sending me a big box, a heavy box? And so I made sure, and I saw if it was ticking or whatever, and it wasn't. And so I opened it gingerly, couldn't imagine what it was. And when I opened it up, found a note from Victor Sleeps. And those of you, because I can identify him on this, because this won't be that, no OPSEC kind of thing. And he had sent me something. Some of you might be familiar. You see Victor Sleeps comments. I forget if he's mainly on Patreon or YouTube, but he comments a lot and has good comments. He sent me something. Murphy's Stout. Some of you may have remembered that I talked about I don't much like Guinness. I'll drink it if that's the only thing around. But almost if there's anything else, I don't like Guinness. Murphy's, I love it. And I didn't know you could get it in the States, and then people started, telling me, no, you can get it in the States, but I still couldn't find it around here. And so anyway, Victor Sleeps. He apparently felt sorry enough for me not having any Murphys that he sent this to me. And boy, I tell you, I'm gonna have that tonight, and maybe I'll even do a video to where you all will be able to watch me enjoy the Murphys. Hey buddy, thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. I will think about you and Ireland when I drink these. So thanks a lot. The last thing, some of you who have ordered complete sets of the Stonemont series, the Revival, finally came in. I know you've been waiting a long time, supply chain and stuff like that. So now, those of you who have ordered full sets of the Stonemont series, those will be getting out in the mail here. This is Friday. You might not get them out until Monday, but they'll be headed your way. So for those of you who want to know how to get them, I always put the link down there. Okay. Enough of that. Not that those first two weren't important. They were. Again, thank you guys. Okay. This country is a wreck. We know it. There's no question about it. How did it happen? We could spend a lifetime talking about it. Hallie just walked in. Hi, kiddo.
Howdy.
And talking about it is not going to do any good. We've seen this mess go through the House. This Build Back Better. And of course, all it is just another scheme to take our money and waste it and pay off people who are invested in our demise and the destruction of our country. And I have long thought, that's not okay, 10 years. I'll go to something longer later, maybe. I think we have to realize that, and this is nothing new. I didn't discover it. You all know it too. But if we look at the election maps, the problems in our country are the cities. Okay, nothing new there. You all understand that. You all agree. And probably right now, some of you going, well, you like the cities, right? No, I don't. I like the city the way it used to be. Maybe I'll talk about that. I'm a city guy. I loved the city back in the 1950s. I hate the jungle that it is now. Okay, the only way, I think, and this is where the radical comes in, and I want to hear what you all have to say about it. The only way to set this country right is to cut the cities out of the equation. Okay. Now, right now, there will be a lot of people that say, you can't do that. It can't be done. Okay. Maybe it can't. I don't know. But what I do know is that it can't be done if we don't try, and we're not going to try unless we start talking about it and how to do it. If we don't get something in our mind with a goal, we're not going to start working towards that goal. way back when I started, I had the idea, and this is back, oh gosh, back in the 70s when I first went on the police department. And I saw what was happening, and I saw that the voting blocks out of the cities, were really what was driving the political process. And and I saw the voting blocks that were in the cities, and more and more. Now, it used to be back in the 50s, and those of you who grew up in cities know this to be true. Back in the 50s and before that, the cities were not what they are today. It was full of producers. Okay, cities were it was a coming together of a lot of producing people, people who either owned their own businesses or worked for other people. And there's nothing wrong with that. They worked for businesses that for the most part were locally owned. They had a direct relationship with the city and the county government. Now, some of those were crooked, yes, just like they are, not as much as they are. Well, whatever. But they had a direct relationship with those governments. The federal government was really nothing that anybody ever paid attention to back then. Nobody cared about the federal government. What did they have to do with anything? And of course, that started changing in the 60s. I won't go into the long, drawn-out explanation of this because many of you know it, and those who don't know it, it'd be better if you study it on your own than listen to me talk about it. But I realized that more and more, as the leadership was changing in the cities, the voter base was changing, which caused the change in the leadership of the cities until now they are nothing but parasites. They are total parasites. There's no way to change this country and turn it around. There's no way for to secede. You can't have states secede from the federation, the federal government, because within each state are those powerful voting blocks that are in the cities. The cities, for the most part, not in every case, but cities for the most part drive the politics of the state. Well, the reason that they're able to drive that is because all the people that are voting in the cities. Most of those people are pariahs. They're parasites. They don't produce anything. They live on the government dole. Half of them live on welfare and food stamps, and other social programs, most of which we're not even aware of. I mean, if you go down the list of social programs, every way you can get money from the federal government by not doing anything, it blows your mind, right? You all know this as well as I do. So we have to take away their ability to participate in the process. In my family, like in your family, the parents make the money, right? And they take care of the kids. The kids don't get to decide how to spend that money. They don't get an equal vote. Now, we may say, what kind of pizza do you want tonight? In which case, there's nothing wrong with that. But we don't ask them what kind of cars we should buy, or what kind of house we should buy, or how we finance the family and all that, because they're irresponsible. They're not contributing anything to it. They don't have the judgment. This is the same thing with the people in the cities. They don't have the judgment. Most of them are uneducated. The ones who are voting so much, they think they know it all, and they don't. They know what they've been spoon-fed. They get all riled up and yelling and screaming, and they think that makes them an important part of the political process. Well, sadly, it does, simply because of the way this process has been able to be changed. They get out and riot and burn and destroy, and they think that that's a valid expression of political anger. Actually, it's criminal behavior. They simply need to go to jail, as do many of our elected officials. So the first thing that we do is we have to remove the right to vote from those who are taking a government check. I know that sounds radical. It's not to me. Y'all let me know what you think. But, I even thought way back in my day that a person who worked for the government, because the government was a cushy job. I mean, you got a job with the government, and you had it, amongst a certain tier of people. There was a thought, you get a government job, you got it made. All you got to do is kind of show up for 30 years, 20 years, whatever, and you got it made for the rest of your life. Well, these government jobs and these government organizations, as the federal government got bigger and bigger and bigger, they turned into huge voting blocks. And these people were no longer voting as individuals. Now, there are some, I know, and I'm not painting all government workers with the same brush. I am saying that the vast majority of them can be swayed by, what is going to be done for them. Like most people vote like, what are you going to do for me, right? Well, when the federal government says, we're going to take care of all you federal workers, one guy says, who do you think everybody's going to vote for? Okay, so I have often kind of pondered whether people who take a government check of any kind should be able to continue to vote. Now, so I know some people are going to get all upset about that. That's all right. Well, I pay taxes. I have a right to vote. Yeah, I understand, but you pay taxes because you use the same streets and you use, all the same facilities, and the same police department comes and the same fire department comes and all that. But the growth of the government, in some cities, the majority of people employed are employed by governments. And that is a problem. You can't have all of those people deciding and being a determining factor on the outcome of votes when it has to do with taxes and raising taxes and building back better and things like that, right? So, we could discuss that, but definitely I would say that nobody who takes a welfare check, any kind of government substance, other than Social Security, because that was earned. That was taken out of our checks without our permission all of our lives, and we're just getting some of it back. Yeah, I get Social Security, but that was earned, and we could have made a lot more if we put that money into another kind of savings account. So it actually was money that was stolen from us, and hopefully we'll get some of it back. But that's by doing that, and then we have to take our businesses away from the cities. Simple as that. We have to carve these cities out of the rest of the country because they are the cancers. And when you have a cancer, you have to destroy the cancer. You have to destroy the cancer's ability to further pollute the tissue around it. And that's what the cities do. Now, so we have to take them out of the political equation. There are many ways to do it. I want to hear your thoughts on it. And you will probably, those of you who know that I love the city, wonder why I'm talking like this. Well, you see, the cities serve a wonderful purpose. The city can be a wonderful place. You can listen to the high school band in a small town, right? It's nice, isn't it? It's cute. The kids march up and down, they play their band, and you can go to their orchestra, and that's nice, and the kids are trying hard not. That is not the same as a major city philharmonic, which is beautiful, which describes the height, the extent to which, human musical art and genius has elevated itself. The fighting song at the high school is not the same as Beethoven and Bach and Liszt and Rachmaninoff and all of those. You get those in the city. Many other things, there's a lot of diners, that are just great in the suburbs and the smaller towns. You don't get the same, when you go to the cities, you have the real fine things. Now, not everybody wants those things, and I understand it. A lot of people hate those things, and that's their right. But the cities is where everything came together. I remember, and I took a tour with some people. I made a video of a tour. That's a school. Sorry, you all had to hear that. I took a tour of the city not long ago on a video here. The city was beautiful. The architecture was beautiful. You can buy a picture out somewhere at Walmart or anywhere, and it's pretty, but it's nothing like the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art in Kansas City or any of the other major art galleries in the country. See, that's what the cities were, the collection of the very best of the epitome of achievement in the different areas. And not everybody wanted to live in the city, and not everybody did. But those who did like those things, and the philanthropists paid for those things to provide those to the people. People would come into the cities to see those things. And that is what a city was. The cities, those things are still in the cities, but you can't go there anymore at night. You wouldn't want to go there many times during the day. And it's just decayed. And it's decayed because of the change of the people in the cities. If the people have changed, then we have to change their ability to have an impact on our political process, because they're the ones driving this country into the ditch. And it's not going to be much longer if we don't do something about it. Now, do I think this can actually be done? I don't know. It's a hope that I have, but I know that nothing gets done until you start talking about it. And yeah, I don't think it's going to happen for a long time, but it's a fight worth starting, I think. Sometimes you got to start a fight to get the fight going. So I think that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm starting a fight. I'm saying those people who take unemployment, who don't participate, who don't contribute to the system, who spend their times as sponges in our society, and then go out and rape and rob and burn and loot and things like that, those people should have no right to vote and should be doing their time in jail. And we should not be celebrating this, and we should not have musicians and rappers and even other politicians elevating these morons into some position of having a legitimate effect on our political process. So that's my spiel for today. I'll probably talk about this stuff more because this stuff just ticks me off. Anyway, I'm sure I left out a lot, but I droned on a long time, probably because I'm sick. Let me know. Put your input down here. Be very careful. Oh, I wanted to say one last thing also. I mentioned that I had to pull a comment off of one of the videos a few days ago, and I was sorry that I had to, but I did have to. It was somebody who had, and I don't even remember what video it was, and I don't remember who put the video on, or put the comment on, so it doesn't matter. But they had recommended a couple of other channels. Now, recommending another channel is problematic in itself. I do that a little bit more over on Patreon than on YouTube. But one of the channels I would have let stay because it's a channel that I agree with. There was a second channel that they had suggested that I do not recommend. And so I just pulled the whole comment off for that reason. So, be careful about when you put stuff up and recommend different things. I think that's all I want to say about that. So anyway, this was quite a ramble. It's probably because I'm sick. But I hope you got the gist of it. Let me know what you think. And you probably have a lot of other ideas of how things ought to change, and I'd love to hear them, and I'm sure everybody else would too. So you all have a good day. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So things are getting rocky. Prepare your best, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.